dicey.
Community, our hometown. This is Kearney Live on 102.7 FM, our hometown radio station. Kearney Live is presented by Kearney Trust, 310 West 92 Highway in Kearney, 816-628-6666. And now here's the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
Yep. That is our live studio audience, folks. If you think that there is no studio audience here, you're sadly mistaken. Is that right, Brian?
That is right.
I think, we like to show sometimes. We like to show the number of people that actually
you want to do that? Okay, we can do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they line up. Look at that. Every single one of those people. Of course. Yeah. They're across the hall. We can't fit everybody in here. But anyway, welcome to Kearney Live. We're so glad to have you here this week. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Along with that was producer-engineer Brian Watts, who was pushing the buttons. And I see right back behind you, Brian, that you know who that is?
That's Julian.
That's Sergeant Julian Walker. He's with the Missouri National
Guard. Wave, Julian.
Yeah, I didn't see it. You didn't even know you're going to be on camera. You're sort of like the audience, at a football game. You need a sign or something that says, go Tigers.
Hi, Mom.
Go Bulldogs or something like that, which would be pretty cool. So it's fun. I've got today. First of all, Jim Dickerson is missing.
What?
Yes, he's out of commission or something. I don't know what.
Jim
is flying around the country. He flies for a private organization now. Used to be commercial airliner, but now flies a really cool jet around. For any of you that are interested in that sort of thing, interested in aviation. Jim is the guy who said, he told me, I said, tell me about your career, Jim. He's former law enforcement. He was with the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Mm-hmm. And then he flew airplanes, and he was able to get in and fly around commercially. I mean, he's a terrific pilot. I know that for a fact. And
he hasn't crashed yet.
So, I don't know. But he said, I always wanted to be a police officer, and I always wanted to be a pilot.
Wow.
So here's a guy. So for especially you young guys, you think about what do I want to do in life? Sometimes you can just say, this is what I want to do. And Jim Dickerson is a good example of that.
Yep. And then change later on, too.
So. He did. I know. I'm tired of being a policeman. I don't want to do that anymore.
I want to fly now.
So, and he's also on radio. And he's the voice of your Kearney Bulldogs, who, by the way, if you'll just stay with us tomorrow at noon, about this time, 24 hours from now, we'll have the Coach Gray Show, and Jim will be back. Yeah. That, more cowbell right there. Cowbell. That's exactly
Kearney
right.
Faithful.
So, exactly right. All right, I want to introduce these fellas in here. Terrific guys. I've got, I did meet earlier, Sergeant David White. Sergeant, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You don't have to look at me when you speak. If you want to, you can stay right in camera right there, so you don't have to turn your head and uncomfortably get away from the mic and all of that. I probably should have pointed that out to you. I also have Joseph Carpenter at PFC, Joseph Carpenter, right? And you hear that? All that applause is all for you. Although that sounded like a slightly smaller crowd than the one. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So I think there were the people in the front row. Maybe it's the folks who know you. I don't know. That's got to be. So you're still in high school, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I have to know. Okay, let's just start right out here. What made you decide? Okay, I'm gonna join the National Guard, or what? I mean, what were you thinking as you signed on this paper?
So for me, it's a lot of things. So first off, I come from a huge military family. Dad's been serving forever, been deployed multiple times. Same with my grandfather. My parents met in the military. That was a huge factor. And then ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to fight for this great country that we live in today. And I feel proud every day wearing this uniform, and I just want to do what I can.
Wow, well spoken and well said. And we chatted a little bit before we went on the air, and there are different reasons that folks have when they make decisions with their career, and specifically to to join the military. And I would ask you, David, Sergeant White here, is you're involved in recruiting, correct?
I am.
To me, there is a. Let me put it this way. Joseph, it was no big deal for you to make this choice, right? Because you were sort of family bound to do it anyway, it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to get at, and I stumbled a little bit there, David, but what I'm getting at is I see the National Guard as an option, but it's slightly different, although there are similarities. If somebody says, I'm just going to join the Army, that's what I'm going to do. How is that different, and how is it similar from joining the National Guard?
So when you think of the Army, there's three components of the Army. So you have active duty. They do it 24/7, 365 everywhere in the United States, across the world. And then you have the Army Reserves. So they're a reserve component. They're only federally funded. And then you have the Army National Guard. So the Army National Guard is both state and federally funded. So what that means is your duty station is going to be in the state that you live in for the most part. So if you're in the Missouri National Guard, your unit will be in Missouri. And so we'll do things to support the community. So here of late, we've done a lot of COVID missions, state emergency duties, fires, floods, tornadoes, natural disaster, civil unrest, things like that. We can come in and step in and help out with the local government or the state government with whatever they need. And then on the federal level, of course, we can go anywhere in the United States to do those state of emergencies. But we also can go we're also on a global scale, so we can go anywhere in the world to support the needs of whatever we're called for. We can go do those things. So the National Guard, we're definitely a community-oriented service for sure.
The Missouri governor just recently, if I'm not mistaken, was he not going to send some National Guard troops to the southern border?
I do not know.
Okay, I wasn't sure either, and but I do know that there are troops on the southern border right now who are not from Texas. They're not Texas National Guard. They were National Guard from other states.
Possibly. Again, I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not a
You're not
southern
watching
border
the news.
expert.
I understand.
I think that's right. And then not only that, but I believe Governor Parson sent some troops down to Hurricane Ida to help out with that.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And those two things were overlapping.
Right.
So I'm nuts.
Yeah,
but
the
I'm
hurricane
not
definitely
crazy.
happened.
Yes,
the hurricane definitely happened.
No doubt about it.
I know I had some of my some soldiers that I personally enlisted. I saw on their their Facebook pages and stuff they were sharing their involvement with Louisiana community. I know we have a local unit, not really local to Kearney, but the unit up in Albany. There was a fire department down in Louisiana somewhere. It was a smaller fire department, community. They did a big write up on their Facebook page for them. And took a bunch of photos of them, handing out food and water and just helping out the community, doing what they needed to get those people back on their feet.
Right. So that's a good example then of troops that actually did leave their state to participate in an emergency situation in another state.
Sure.
And you guys are all well capable and prepared for that sort of duty, which is great. Now, if I were young again, and that's not going to happen, but I would say that it would be a good choice to join any branch of the service for a lot of reasons, but not the least of which is that there are tons of benefits, and one of them is a college education and other things. Joseph, I'm going to talk to you about that one just a little bit. Why don't you address that? From the standpoint of benefits, how it benefits you, even though I realize you're serving your country, how will this benefit you in the long haul?
So not only can I pursue a career in the military and do anything I want to accomplish in that area, but also I still have a civilian life. I can go to college. I can pursue a career that way too, and the National Guard will finance my way through that and make it possible for me to do that without feeling the pressures of financial burden, I guess you could say.
Better believe it, yeah.
That's just tremendous.
I see. Okay, so well, that's kind of cool because you're not always wearing fatigues. You're not, you can go to parties at college. Come on, be honest, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about,
All
sir.
right, and exactly, and go to football games and tailgate and have all the fun and so forth. But at the same time, but you know that at any given moment you could be called up for just the kind of service that we were talking about earlier, where there may be, they may require extra troops along the southern border or for natural disasters and so forth.
Yes, sir. I know for me specifically, my country comes first. I signed up to do my duty. The benefits that come along with that are kind of just like side dishes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really cool that I get that, but I would have done it no matter what.
Right, and David, for the long haul, obviously, if you decide to stay in or not, you reach a point at which you receive VA benefits, and there are a number of those. Talk about that a little bit.
So one of the big benefits is the outside of the GI Bill, you have, after 6 years of service in the National Guard, you do qualify for a VA home loan, which what that is 0% down, up to, I'm not sure the dollar amount. It's up there. You do pay 0% down on the home loan through the VA. And then, of course, you have your health care benefits. And then while you're serving, of course, you do have your GI Bill. If you're choosing to go to school, you receive that money. In the reserve component, you receive the Chapter 1606, which is the reserve component GI Bill. So that pays you a set amount of dollars directly to your pocket for your own. You can use it for whatever you want. So if you want to use it on clothes, shoes, books, rent, food, it doesn't matter. It's your money. You can use it what you want while you're attending school full time. Or we have what's called on-the-job training. So even if you're not choosing to go to school, but yet, maybe you join the Guard, you learned a trade, and you're taking that trade and taking it out to the workforce. As long as there's a training period, which I don't know of any job that doesn't have some sort of training period, but you can utilize your GI Bill for on-the-job payment or on-the-job training payments and receive extra money while you're literally going to work. So it's another pretty cool benefit that we offer.
So you're getting the GI Bill benefits immediately upon signing up, is that right?
No, not quite. You have to complete your basic training and your advanced individual training. So all your initial training has to be completed before you're eligible for any type of GI Bill benefits.
Okay, but Joseph, in your case, you said you did your basic training, right?
Yes, sir.
And when did that happen? Tell me about that just a little bit.
So the cool thing about the Guard is they have the split op training, which means before my senior year, over that summer break, I can do the first part of my training, which is basic training. I can come back and finish my senior year, do all that cool stuff, and then go back and finish the AIT portion. So this last summer is when I completed basic training.
And where did you do that?
I went down to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Wow, okay. You didn't stay here in Missouri. Right?
No, sir.
Any reason for that?
It's kind of specific to your MOS or your job. I know that my job tends to go down to Fort Benning, Georgia most of the time for their basic training portion as well as the AIT.
So when you got down there, were there other individuals like yourself that were going into the National Guard, or was it just a whole host of others who were going into the United States Army?
My whole group that I was with was National Guard. Most of them were high schoolers like myself, but there was also a few who were older. I think the oldest was like close to 30. He was actually a teacher going down. So
wow, yeah.
But there was also guys from who wanted to go active duty as well.
And we've all seen the movies about basic training. And did it get your attention?
Yeah, that'd be putting it lightly. When I first got there, it was definitely a culture shock, to say the least. Yes. But looking back on it, I wouldn't have wanted to do anything different with my summer. I'm proud of what I accomplished, and I'm proud to call myself a soldier.
No doubt about it. Did you feel you were prepared for it physically?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm consider myself to be pretty physically fit. I'm pretty active. I'm a football player. I do all that. Physically, yeah, I was prepared for most of it. Being mentally prepared, however, is something else entirely. Right.
Tell me what you mean by that. What are some of the things that in effect, got your attention that you just said, wow, I would have had no idea that a thing like this would have happened?
Things that got my attention, really, you're always being watched. You think you can get away with things, you can't. You can't. Little things like moving at the position of attention when you're supposed to look like a statue say you need to scratch your leg or something like that, they will see that and you will definitely get in trouble for it. It's mainly just the fact that they go to such measures to make you stronger that were so surprising to me, especially during the first few weeks.
Right. As a football player and an athlete, did you feel like that you? How quickly did you? I know that you improved physically, but how quickly, and did it challenge you from any particular standpoint? And when did you start feeling like, wow, this training really works?
Honestly, just the fact that there was no rest period, really. It was always, this is what you're required to do. You were expected to do it. And it wasn't like, oh, you hurt your ankle, okay, you need to take a break. It's like, you hurt your ankle, get up and go. No matter what. No matter what happened, you need to keep going and put the others before yourself.
Right. Did you put on weight or did you lose weight?
I ended up losing
Interesting.
weight. I kind of kept it pretty stable, though.
Yeah. And how long were you in basic training?
Just under 3 months, somewhere around there.
That seems like a long time, though, to be watched constantly.
Yeah, I'd say so.
At what point during that basic training did you kind of feel like that your drill instructor was maybe let up on you a little bit and started to I guess recognize that you were getting it, that you were understanding, or did that ever happen?
For us specifically, not really, but it tended to get a little better towards the end. Basic is split up into 3 phases: red, white, and blue. And during red phase was definitely the worst. And slowly through the phases, they kind of let up on you, and they kind of started to realize they understand the basics. Now it's time to kind of sharpen their skills and turn them into what we need to be.
Interesting. Now, David, you're involved in recruiting, obviously. You'd mentioned that before. And so you're talking to a lot of different high school kids, and maybe even some older folks like the teacher that Joseph referenced. What are some of the things, what are the selling points that you talk to these people about? And how can you spot at that point that these people are not going to make it, or that this is going to be a great candidate? That's really kind of a 2-part question, but take it however you want.
Sure. So some of the benefits, some of the main benefits that we offer, definitely one of the biggest is education, especially for our younger, our high school students. The youngest you can be is 17 with parental consent. The oldest is 34 without a waiver. But education benefits is a huge selling point because we pay $4,000 a year through federal benefits towards tuition, and then on the state side, we also receive state tuition assistance, and that pays 15 credits for the fall, 15 credits for spring, and then 9 credits for the summer at Mizzou's rate. So, whatever Mizzou is charging per credit hour, that's what we will pay up to. So effectively, somebody could go to school and have up to 100% of their tuition paid for. So education is huge. We also offer, as I mentioned before, the GI Bill benefits that kind of plays into your education or job training. And then we have healthcare benefits. We have some of the best affordable healthcare that one can buy. So while they're on orders, anytime you're on orders over 30 days, you're eligible for what's called TRICARE Prime. That doesn't cost the service member anything. They are covered. Their family members are covered. There's no deductibles, no copays, nothing. It's absolutely 100% free. If they're not on an order outside of over 30 days, which is going to be probably 99% of your National Guard formation, that's not full-time or activated, they can still have TRICARE. It's called TRICARE Reserve Select. It's a lot cheaper. So for a single soldier, I don't know the exact dollar amount, but it's somewhere between $40 and $50 a month. And then depending on their rank, it's between $50 and $100 annual deductible. And then your family member, it's like $200-something per month for their premium. And then again, there's either $50 to $100 annual deductible before it kicks in. But the TRICARE Reserve Select, it just acts just like any other insurance does. You have your deductibles, you have your copays, but it's very, very, very reasonable and very, very affordable. So most of the time when I'm talking to parents, they get we start talking about that, and I tell them what our deductibles are, and I get a shocked look. They're like, "Holy cow, that is way cheap." So that's usually a pretty big selling point for sometimes most of the older folks, because high school kids, they don't really care about insurance. They're not paying for it.
Yep.
But
nope. I remember.
They will appreciate it one day when they're older and have
Yes.
families, for sure. We offer retirement benefits. We have a 401k matching after 2 years. You're vested, so They'll match.
Hard to say no. I'm almost ready to sign up, and
Yeah.
I might be just a slight bit over the age limit. But
So, quite a few different benefits.
We're getting ready to go to break here in about a minute, but just real quickly, it sounds to me like you are meeting a lot of parents at the same time that you're meeting these recruits. And I'm just curious. You've seen tons of people in front of you, in front of the desk, that are saying, "Hey, I think I want to do this." And I'm just curious. I want to hear the ones where you say, you maybe should make another decision in life. Does that ever happen?
It definitely does.
I thought maybe it did.
It definitely does. So,
Hey, before we go to break, I want to hear from Joseph. Joseph, what is your intended job? What are you planning on doing with your training?
In the military or civilian side?
Your what AIT, is that the next step? AIT?
So I'm going to be an 11 Bravo infantryman. The reason I chose that is because they get selected to go to all these prestigious schools, airborne, air assault. And one day, my biggest goal would be to go Green Beret, something like that down the road.
Good.
That's definitely what I want to pursue in the military.
Outstanding. I can tell you come from a military background. We have the military right in studio with us here today. We've got the Missouri National Guard, a bunch of great folks here that we are very proud of, and thank you all for your service. You're listening to Kearney Live. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll come back and talk with these guys a little bit more. It's fun. See you in a bit.
You love the programming? Say a special thank you to the underwriters like these who support KPGZ.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. The world has become fast-paced, and we understand that you are busy. That's why we offer a banking experience that's as simple and stress-free as can be. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. You may just be getting off the ground or ready to move into your brick and mortar building. Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Kearney Live. Glad to have you here. We appreciate you all so much. And I have to thank a wonderful sponsor and Kearney Trust Company, who has been around for over 100 years. Is that right, Brian?
That is right.
And it's hard to imagine that, that a business is... Can any business last that long? Well,
yeah, not very many of them.
Nope, Kearney Trust has. And they are the sponsor of this very program. And they started with us at the very beginning. They believed in us, and I think we had just opened the doors to the radio station. 5 years ago or so?
Yeah, just about 5 years.
And they said, we believe in you, and they've been with us ever since, so we appreciate them. By the way, I did want to mention, too, that after those 5 years, we were recently honored by the Kearney Chamber of Commerce as the Kearney Chamber 2021 Business of the Year. Yep, that's right. That's right. I thought maybe I'd hear it.
There they are.
Yeah. I think our audience was sleeping on that one. I don't know. We got a little round of applause in here. I appreciate that, fellas. Thank you. All right, we're back with the Missouri National Guard. Great bunch of guys and gals, too. No gals in here today, but we know that there are a number of them. Right, David? I mean, is there a percentage that you know of, men to women?
No, I don't know an exact percentage.
I don't either.
I definitely know that there are women in the military. I encourage women to join the military. We need them in the military. We need strong leaders. So, there's one of my best commanders was a female. So
there you go.
Hands down, we need them.
Yep, no doubt about it, and well capable, and I love seeing it. We've also got now Private Dominic Carter. How are you, Private Carter? Yeah. I'm doing good. Good to see you here. Now, yes, you are also still in high school, and you have not done your basic training yet, correct?
That's correct.
All right. You had a choice to make, a career choice. You're a senior, right?
Yes.
And you have to be minimum 17 years old. Are you 18 now?
I'm not 18.
So okay, so your parents had to say yes, we're okay with that, and they sign a piece of paper and off you go. I'm sure it wasn't that easy. You had a decision to make, and you just said, I'm working on my career choices here, and I don't know what it is, or there's a couple of ideas you had. Tell me your thinking process that got you to here.
So I've always been big into military. I've always thought about it. I used to go to air shows a lot. I've always thought about it. I never knew what I wanted to do until last year when I turned 17. So it was either between the National Guard Air Force or the Army. So the Army had a lot more benefits for what I wanted to do. Just appealed to me more.
But if you wanted to learn to fly, can you do that here in the National Guard? Is that something you can?
In the Air National Guard, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or even in the Army.
So what are the steps to get you to that? Let's just say that you make that call and you say, yeah, you know what, I want to learn to fly. What's the next step? You're not sure, but David, maybe you can jump in, help us.
I do know a little bit, not much, but a little bit. So there's two different paths to become an aviator. First off, in the Missouri National Guard, we do not have fixed wing. We only have rotary, so that means helicopters only. Primarily, we have Blackhawks here in Missouri out at Whiteman. We have some in Springfield and at Fort Leonard Wood. But we have two different options. You can do warrant officer or you can do a fully commissioned officer. Both require the fully commissioned officer route does require you to have a bachelor's degree first, which, as I stated before, I'll pay for it.
Not you personally.
Not me personally, but the Guard will pay for it. The National
good.
Guard.
I thought maybe you had a big fat wallet, and I was going to suggest you buy us all lunch. Okay.
I can afford lunch and maybe not a college for a
good.
bunch of people. Yeah. I'll save it for my kids. But yeah, the fully commissioned does require a bachelor's degree, but you can branch aviation and go through that training path, or we do have warrant officer, which does not require a degree. I'm not for sure if there's a specific, like a course or something that you have to have. I'd have to check the regulations to see what's required, but we do have a warrant officer path that does not require a full degree. That, again, you can branch aviation, put a packet together, and we'll send you to flight school and teach you how to fly helicopters.
That is awesome. And I don't know, Dominic, do you have any idea what it costs to learn to fly right now if you wanted to get your private license?
I would say it's pretty expensive.
Yeah,
right
it's in the thousands. Okay. Yeah, it does. I mean, by the time you get there, there's and it comes out of your own fat wallet, or maybe that wallet isn't so fat right now if it's anything like mine. So yeah, so I get it. That's very cool though that you have that opportunity. Is there anything else specifically that you look at as you are now a member of the National Guard? What other career paths have you considered?
I've considered many other things. I've always wanted to go to college to pursue my education and just learn about what I want to do for the future. Makes
sense. Yeah, I think if you're like most kids, and I know I was clueless at about your age as it applies to my own career and future, and there's a lot of other things on your mind too. I think I know what some of those are. I was like you at one time. Anyway, I could tell that you're a good soldier, and as you got started, have you run into other kids in your school that, first of all, where do you go to school?
I go to school here at Kearney.
Oh, right here at Kearney. Okay, good. I was not aware of that. Both of you guys are Kearney? All right. Nobody told me. Well, that's awesome. Well, great. So there are, obviously, there's two of you, at least, from Kearney High School that that decided to make this call. Are there others?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Kearney is one of the biggest schools for recruiting, isn't it?
Yeah, we have. It's one of our larger markets for the region that I cover. It is one of our larger markets. So we do pretty well in Kearney High School.
Outstanding. Well, very good. Well, that's even better. I mean, you don't feel like you're sort of jumping off into deep waters anywhere. But this is something that you're aware of. And did you speak to other kids that were thinking about doing this? And
Oh yeah, so the kid that got me into this, he's always wanted to do military, and unfortunately he didn't qualify for it, but I got into it and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Right. The qualifications are, is it academic and physical or what? What are some of the things?
His was sort of physical. I could guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was something with his eyes. He has glasses, so he couldn't really qualify.
Sure, I understand. But in a general sense, there are not a lot of limitations. If you're a high school student and you're looking for a career option, yeah, David, you're shaking your head. Tell me about it. What are some of the things that you look at that?
Yeah, there are definitely things that would preclude somebody from being able to pursue the service. Mm-hmm. I'm not a doctor by any means, so we do have doctors at the Military Entrance Processing Station, or MEPS, that review medical documents. There's a number of I think it's 164 questions on the medical form that we're going to ask.
I can imagine.
It's all yes, no, and if you have yes, then we have to turn in medical documents for a lot of it, get you cleared. If you're physically able to do it. There are some things that can preclude you from serving in the military, unfortunately. But that's well outside of my control. That's for sure.
I understand. No, absolutely. We don't have a draft, clearly. So, is there as you're recruiting, and that's what you do? I mean, you're kind of a salesman, right?
Yeah,
you're trying
I am.
Convince people that this is a good choice for them. And is the military now? Are you able then, I guess, to be more selective than if it was a draft? If there was a draft going on, can the military say, well, you know what? No, we want the best of the best, or we want to make sure that our standards are set really high, so we make sure that we've got the right people in the military. Is that something that comes into play?
I don't know if that exact comes into play. I mean, they have standards. We have regulations that we have to abide by. There are waivers. There are some things that, in the regulation it says it's not permissible, or not you're not able to use those things or have those things. But then the servicing component, so whatever branch it is, they can grant a waiver which would allow you to proceed with the enlistment with whatever condition that you may have. So,
I see. And that could be anything. I mean, and I'm referring to things like people who have broken the law or had a little bit of a checkered past. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Oh yeah.
And,
yeah. There's medical stuff. The medical stuff, there's waivers for some things we know it's a no-brainer, not going to happen. But there's some things, I'll if it's within reason, we'll ask for a waiver. Make them tell us no.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. You don't have any trouble recruiting, though, right?
No, we do.
It's not a hard job.
Well, no, this is the easiest, hardest job I've personally ever had, but it's also the most rewarding job I've ever had. I've been in recruiting for 6 years now. I've been a part of the top. We've been in the top area. So the Missouri Guard is broke out into different areas. I'm in Area 1 of 10. Past 2 years in a row, Area 1 has been the top producing area in the entire state.
What geography is that area?
So that's basically going to be the northwest corner. Kearney, Excelsior Springs, about as far south-ish we would go. Mm-hmm. We go all the way to Odessa, and then we kind of make a jagged line up between Macon and Chillicothe area up to Iowa, essentially. So it's just that whole big corner is Area 1. But like I said, for the past 2 years, we've been the top producing area in the entire state.
So it's really not that easy of a job. You're not pulling one over on anybody.
It's a lot. I definitely couldn't do what I do without a strong home front. My wife definitely sacrifices a lot. She takes care of the family, the home front for me. because it can turn into some long hours as a recruiter. But as my sergeant major would tell me, it's not about me, and it's not about me. It's not about me.
You guys are trained well, I can tell. I love those kinds of answers. Now, you do travel around then to other high schools in the area in this Region 1 then, right? Do you just kind of wait for people to come to you, or how's that work?
No, yeah, we'll go into the high schools as much as they'd let us. The past couple of years, of course, with COVID, has been been kind of struggling or trying at times. Some schools won't allow us in, which is understandable. Others they'll let us right in, no problems. This year has been way more accepting and opening for us to come in than last year. Last year was a lot of virtual. Everything was shut down for the most part.
Yes.
So, but this year it's been much better. We've been able to get into schools, see the students, talk with them, visit with them. Most of the time we're doing lunchroom displays or giving presentations on numerous different activities or subjects. But we go around to different schools. Yeah.
So do you set up a kiosk, or is it a scheduled presentation in an all-purpose room, or how does it work? Or do they sort of set you in a place in the hall and just hope that people walk by and stop? Or I'm just curious what this looks like.
All of the above.
Is that right? Okay.
Everything you just said, we will do it. I'll set up lunch. During lunch, I'll set up set up a table in the lunchroom and talk to kids who want to talk to me, or I'll show up to sporting events, set up a table, bring a Humvee out somewhere.
Nice.
Or a big Buffalo truck, whatever. We'll go to the festivals and fairs. We were just at the Jesse James Festival.
Yes.
Here not too long ago. So yeah, anything we will. If I can talk to somebody some way or another, right. I'm gonna do it.
I saw, and I don't remember why we were there, but my wife and I were at a park in Parkville, Missouri, and they had driven up. The Missouri National Guard had driven up a number of military vehicles. Just fascinating. It was hard not to notice. And so I sort of got the promotional aspect of it and talked to a couple of guys like yourself who likely were recruiters. And it was just fascinating. They were, perfectly generous with their time and, told me all about it. Obviously, I was not going to be signing up, but they told me all about the equipment, and it was very cool. So that's a neat aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. Well, we're going to take a break here, Brian. Is that right? Yep.
Yeah. Before we go, Dominic, what is your AIT? Do you know that?
Mine is a 25 Bravo or IT specialist.
IT specialist. Very good.
The only thing I understood in that whole thing was the IT specialist part, but I'll take your word for it. It sounded really official and military-esque. I like the sound of that. That's very cool. You're listening to Kearney Live. We're talking to the Missouri National Guard today. They're in studio with us. Not all of them, but 4 of them are here, and we're going to talk to a couple of different guys here after the break. Stay with us. You're listening to Kearney Live.
Programming heard on KPGZ is being underwritten by these local businesses.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. The world has become fast-paced, and we understand that you are busy. That's why we offer a banking experience that's as simple and stress-free as can be. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. You may just be getting off the ground or ready to move into your brick and mortar building. Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And we're back. It is Kearney Live. It's Wednesday. It was noon. It's Wednesday just before 1 o'clock. We do this every week. That's right here, Kearney Live, the most popular radio program in at least Kearney, Missouri, but probably the world. We have thousands, if not millions, if maybe perhaps billions listening, Brian.
Maybe so. You never know.
No, I'm dreaming. I don't think that's true. But we have several. Let me put it that way. We used to refer to our audience as our listener.
Yep. No longer.
Nope. We have at least two by now, so that it's plural, which is great. Welcome back to the show. We are visiting today with the Missouri National Guard. We're learning a lot about an interesting career choice, and we have sitting with us today. You're our fourth guest today, Sergeant Julian Walker. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I know, Julian, you had your own individual reasons for joining the military, and I just think it's interesting to kind of go through that decision-making process as you were a young man, like these other guys here today. What were you thinking, and how did you end up where you are today?
So I always knew that I wanted to be either the military or law enforcement. My father was in the military, and so with that, I went to school, and this is before I knew about the National Guard. I only knew about active duty Army. And so I was going to school to learn to become a police officer, and then that way I found out about the National Guard. And I was like, wow, so you mean I can stay in Missouri and be in the Army, and then also go and be a police officer without having to be active duty and go move around a lot? And they said yes, so then I said, okay, well, sign me up. So I signed up right away. Yes. And so that's what I've been doing. I was a cop for a while, and I got a full-time gig at the National Guard, and I loved it. And now I stopped being a cop, police officer, and I've been doing the National Guard for a while.
Right. Let's face it, it's hard to make a living. You can make a living, but it's tough. As a police officer or a sheriff, deputy, or what, pick law enforcement in general. It's not a high-paying gig.
Yeah.
So it's good that you had at one point something to sort of supplement that, and you still got to basically follow your path to your choice in career. The stars aligned. I mean, from the looks of things. I mean, it was like, as you said, where do I sign?
Yes.
So, okay, so where you are right now, you're a sergeant, and what are you doing now, and how long have you been in now?
So I'm coming up on my 9th year.
Well, yeah.
And so I've been working. I am a 12 Bravo combat engineer, so we deal with landmines and explosives and stuff like that. I've been doing that, but I'm working under Sergeant White, being a recruiter. Been doing this since September 7th.
It's a little safer than landmines.
Sometimes. Sometimes those parents they'll get you.
But really, how so? I'm just curious. I'm sure you've got, obviously you're not going to mention any names anyway. But I'm just curious what you mean by that.
You said earlier I was a salesman, so I do some phone calling, and I do get hung up on. I've had some.
I actually got my first hung up on the other day.
No kidding.
Yeah, I called for their kid, and I was saying, introduced who I was. Learned, so you need to introduce who you are.
Sure.
So introduced who I said I was Sergeant Julian Walker from Missouri National Guard. I want to talk to your kid about joining the Guard. No. Oh, no. I'm sorry, but I'm hanging up now. And I was like, okay.
Just slam the door on you. Yeah.
We get choice words just like any other salesman, but
right.
It comes with the territory. It's part of the job. You just move on to the next one. You don't take it personal. So.
Yeah. No. Obviously. Well, that's interesting. Now that opens up a whole can of worms of questions I would love to get into. We've only got a little bit of time left, but we talked a little bit about training for a trade. Many times on this very program, we have discussed how you have an alternative now. When a number of years ago, college was the only way to begin your career. That was the springboard to do pretty much anything, it seemed. And so it was hammered into us from grade school on up, from our parents and grandparents and others, and it's go to college. You got to go to college. Well, you don't have to now. There are trades and technical skills that you can learn all over the place, and there are good opportunities to be anything from construction type trades, electrician, plumbing, that you can start out as a trainee and make money on the job without spending a nickel in a college or a university. Talk to me how this all applies and becomes part of that, either one of you guys, how it becomes a recruiting tool as folks are coming to you and saying, you know what, I want to do this. I want to join the National Guard because I want to learn a trade.
I can say for my generation, I think it was right at the end of that whole college push for college. After me, it was a bunch of trade, thinking about trade and doing that. And so with that, with the Missouri National Guard, so as Sergeant White said before, we pay up to 100% Missouri rates. So that also transfers for college as well. I mean, for the techs, for that as well. So with you going to, and also with you going to basic and AIT, so say you want to be a welder or a heavy diesel mechanic or anything like that. And so you go to AIT for that same school, those also may travel to transfer to credits for that tech school that you're going to. So that helps out as well as that too.
Right. So it clearly is on-the-job training then. I mean, obviously. I mean, what are some of the hands-on things that you can think of that you could you become an electrician in the National Guard? Are there things hands-on that you would be doing in the military like that?
Yeah, for sure. There definitely there's definitely hands-on jobs. So we have diesel mechanics, generator mechanics, aviation mechanics, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, water purification specialists, fuelers, bridge crew members. There's so many different trades that you can get into where we will pay you to learn the trade, and then those skills transfer directly over to the civilian world. I'll use myself as an example. I was an information system specialist, 25 Bravo. Was my very first job. Well, I earned all kinds of certificates. I tried college, thought I wanted to go, decided very quickly that college was not my thing. Did not enjoy the classroom, but so I ended up taking my my skills that I learned and applied, and I went and worked for H&R Block in their tech supports. So I didn't have any college to do that. I used my military training. I had certificates that were real world that do apply to the tech world. That I didn't need a college degree to prove that I knew what I knew. So you can do those type of things. I know with one, I have one of our privates that recently returned. He's an allied trade specialist. So those guys, they deal with metals. They weld, machinists, things of that nature. They deal with metals. I know he said he came back with a slew of certificates that shows that he knows how to do all these different types of welds, and not anything I'm going to do, because you don't want me welding anything. I'll just poke holes in metal. But he has papers, certifications that he can go now use and take those and directly use those over. Another pretty popular, surprising, is very popular for us in the Guard is truck drivers. With the truck driving, our 88 mics, our transportation specialists, the schooling that you receive, the Missouri Department of Revenue, they recognize that training. So most of the time for truck drivers, you have to go some sort of driving school. Well, the state recognizes our driving school, and so that's something they don't have to do. And then after, it's up to the commander of their unit, but their commander can sign off on the driving portion to get their CDL, and then all they have to do is take the written test, and they can get their Class A CDL through becoming a truck driver in the National Guard. So there's so many things you can do.
Yes, I mean, I think of truck driving. I don't know. Every truck I drive behind, Brian, it seems like there's a help wanted or a call this 800 number because we're looking for drivers.
Absolutely.
I mean, is there really anything that the Guard can't prepare you for? I mean, when I look at it, if you want to find a job, if you join the National Guard, you're just about covered from the sound of things. Would that be right, Julian?
I would say, so we are a brotherhood. We have a lot of guys who come out of basic, and the job they were doing before, they feel like, this is below me. I want to do something more. So with that being said, just like a frat or fraternity, we all help each other out and help them find each other jobs. So we do help out each other to make sure that you do get a job and get what you do like doing.
Well, yeah, and I think especially now, there's just we talked a little bit off the air, I think, about the fact that there's just folks have a different perception of the United States military and veterans in general, I think, or, you know, we're held, you all are held in high esteem. Folks who are hiring feel the same way, and I think in a very general sense. Am I wrong about that? I mean, do you get that sense from people who are out there? Do you hear that hey, because I'm a veteran, I've been able to find work easier? Do you guys ever hear that?
I would say that it does. It can help. I know, you know, starting off, I always, you know, one of the things that I usually tell the people that sit in front of me that, you know, are new to their careers or just starting out, you know, I'm like, add something to your tool belt. Because if everybody's going to college or everybody's going to trade school and everybody has the same exact thing, well, what are you doing that's going to set you apart from your peer if you all have the exact same training? Well, if that can be something, you know, like the military, like the Army National Guard, where I have, you know, I've been through all this stuff that all these other people have, but in addition to that, I also have, you know, some military training, you know, so now most of the time, you know, you can show that, hey, I'm responsible, I'm dependable, I have leadership skills. You know, I'm not afraid of waking up early in the morning. You know, those type of things that me, if I was hiring, I would want those kind of skills.
I
for
think
people.
so.
Helps to build a resume.
I think that's right. And I think what you're talking about, David, is a competitive advantage. I mean, you're looking at it's yes, everybody's got a bachelor's degree, and I mean, I think it finally came to that, and I think that's one of the reasons that there was such a glut of folks with college degrees that came out, and many of them were useless. I want to be honest about it. They were just useless degrees. Brian's laughing. He may have one of those. I don't know.
Underwater basket weaving.
I might have one of those, yeah.
Well, nonetheless, I think there's if you're looking for a place to begin your career, regardless of what you want to do, Missouri National Guard is a good place to start.
I would say even if you're not even looking to begin, there's some like me that started. I joined when I was 21, so you can come in.
Yeah, and there it is. And all of a sudden you've got a ton of options ahead of you. Plus, if you want to, you can just stay in the military, and you know what? You can retire early. When all the rest of these working stiffs are out there going 9 to 5 and sitting in traffic out here, you're having a little cocktail next to your pool, right? Something like that. I don't know, maybe. A glass of tea, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I like your style.
Well, I don't know about all that. So good having you guys here.
Appreciate it.
We think the world of you. We sure appreciate all of you, all of your service. And thanks for your service to the community and working with the great folks here in the Kearney area, Clay County, and so forth. And sounds like further east of here, clearly, too. There's a lot of folks that high schools and education programs that you guys work with on a regular basis. Any kind of closing thoughts that you're thinking about this is your chance to do your elevator speech, David.
This is why they're like, are you really good at what you do? Let's find out.
Well, I'm not putting any pressure on you. I'm really not. But I think there's always, listen, I talk for a living. So if somebody gives me that opportunity, they're usually sorry they did. But in your case, I'm just going to let you fill a little bit for the last couple of minutes here. If there's a couple of things, either one of you guys, if you want to, go ahead.
Sure.
Elevator speech.
Yeah. The biggest thing for the Guard, and it sounds cliche. I've been in for 15 years, so I've been doing this for a long time. As far as service, I've continued. I joined on a whim because my friends did it, so I didn't really have I had family that had done it, but that was not the sole motivator for me. I did it because my friends did it. Peer pressure. That's the greatest thing, right? But I continue to stay in because I have found the value in it. And as I've gone through my life, there is literally nothing that I have that I've been able to experience literally anything that I can't contribute to being a part of this organization. It's definitely been the greatest experience for me. I've had numerous opportunities. I've got to see the world. I've been all over the place to travel and for training and things like that. I've met a lot of awesome people throughout the years. Just it's an amazing experience. Everything that I have has been a contributor again to me being a member of the National Guard, and I encourage everybody to at least explore the option. A lot of times I'll commend the kids just for sitting down and talking with me, just to explore the option, consider it, hear what we got to say, and kind of make a decision from there. But yeah,
outstanding. Julian, just real quickly, yes, go ahead.
So I will say, so I will be at Kearney High School on the 8th for their homecoming game to watch Joseph Carpenter beat their team that they're going to be playing. So if you guys want to come out there, you guys think interested about joining the Guard or anything, come out there and see me. I'll be out there giving out throwaways and stuff like that, and I'll be happy to meet you.
I just put Joe Carpenter together with the football team. This is how dense I can be.
Well, he did say he was a football player.
I
Where have you
know,
been?
but that was before I realized that he was from Kearney.
Oh, I see. I get that.
And I mean, these 4 guys came in military and camo, Brian, and I was a little intimidated. I didn't quite know how to handle myself. We are so glad all of you guys were here, and we're going to talk in a second. And by the way, we do have a football game Friday night at Winnetaka, and brand new school over there, and I don't know if we're going to try to. Brian shrugged his shoulders. They got a new football field, a new stadium over there. So I don't know if it's worth finding out if we can do a broadcast. Brian doesn't even want to.
You better hurry up if you want to do it.
I know. You're busy. I get it.
Wednesday.
Anyway, David White, Julian Walker, Joseph Carpenter, and Dominic Carter, thank you all for your service. Thank you for being with us. And all of you folks out there who listen to us, we appreciate you. We'll see you next week on Kearney Live.